Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
All right, we're going to move on here. And our next speaker is Rael Bricker. And he's known as the business excellence guy. He's a speaker, a mentor, an author. And he says that back in 2013, he was given a rude awakening, thinking he was at the peak of his fitness. All of a sudden realized he had a couple of blocked arteries, and it made him realize some things, helped him find his purpose in life. And he says, I found my purpose in sharing the experience of journeying and achieving excellence with business owners and entrepreneurs around the world. And after 30 years as an entrepreneur, from everything from education to finance, he's made it his mission to share his knowledge and expertise with others. He's done that 6,000 feet below ground in a mine. He did it through an education business he started that had over 4,000 students. He's been a venture capitalist. His financial services group has put more than $3 billion in loans over 20 years, and he's spread his knowledge over 25 countries. Has a couple of master's degrees in engineering and MBA. And he says that he asks these questions: do you work with people and don't really know how to connect with them? Do you meet people and then don't know what to say or do next? Or do you want to meet a particular person and never really find a way to break the ice? So Rael is going to tell us the answers to all of those questions, I hope. Rael, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everyone. I know you kept saying it was evening, but it's very early here in the west of Australia. It is just after 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm trying to be as bright and sprightly as I can at this time of the morning. So my first question for everybody is that we live in a world where people have forgotten how to communicate. It's a simple statement. It's not anything to overthink a whole lot, but the truth of it is that is where the world sits right now. It would be fantastic if everybody could leave here and, after listening to this presentation, take off their blindfolds and have a new understanding and a new way of communicating. So some of you are thinking, how do you systematize communication? So lean in a bit closer. The truth of it is, this is not about systematizing. This is about creating a way that you can communicate with people in the way that they want to be communicated with. So like every good speaker, everybody has a 2x2 matrix. It's just what we do. So let's try and understand how people communicate. There are those in this world who communicate very fast and think about things on a fast level. And there are those who take a more measured approach to what they do. There are those who are task-driven and task-focused, and those who are people and care about the people around them. Now, by the way, today is a 15-minute introduction to communication. Tomorrow I'll be doing an hour and a bit workshop where I'll take a deep dive into a lot of these things. So in my world, I use colors because I don't think words adequately describe things, and I don't think people remember words, but they remember colors. And so in my world, somebody who's task-oriented and does things fast, we call them a red. Somebody who does, makes fast decisions, but is very people-oriented, we call a yellow. Somebody who makes more measured. Now, when I was at school, if I called somebody slow, I'd be punched in the nose. And so I don't use the word slow as an opposite to fast. I use the word measured. And so if you've got a measured approach and you're people-oriented, in my world, I call that green. And for those who are measured, but also task-focused, we call that a blue. So let's try and understand a little bit more about these people. So reds are these task-oriented, fast people. They do business quickly. All right, tell me the price, tell me when you can deliver it, and the business is yours. And when I talk about I use communication in the context of sales, but the truth of it is every time we interact with somebody, we are often selling. It's not maybe a financial transaction, but the truth is we're trying to convince them about our view of the world or our view of a meeting, within the corporation. So every one of those interactions is a form of communication. So the yellows in our world, they love teamwork. They love fun. They want to know how do we make a decision that is good for our team as a whole. The green, on the other hand, the green are into personal relationships. So they will make decisions. They will take a bit more time to make decisions, but their decisions are based around personal relationships. And then we have the blue. Now, I always feel sad for the blue because I always get to the blue last. But the truth of it is only 11% of our world population are red. 17% are yellow, 35% are green, and 37% are blue. So the blue, those with the behavior that is blue, make up our world. They run our businesses. They keep us on the straight and narrow. That's what they do. So let's look at some examples. Now, these are random. They're not politically motivated or anything. So don't flame me. Don't throw rotten tomatoes at me. But some examples. Now, there's a characteristic here of every one of those people in those pictures, whether you like them or not, is smiling. Okay, so that is a classic characteristic of someone with a yellow behavioral style, because yellow is about fun and teamwork. I mean, some people may say that Bill Clinton had too much fun while in office, but nevertheless, what we're talking about is those with that fun, with that smile, with the laugh lines. So you identify people, it's not that hard, and we'll use these examples to identify people. So this example is quite interesting. Three different people, two world leaders or political leaders. There's a friend of mine who's having a massive debate right now with a lot of people about whether world leaders can actually be called leaders or just elected politicians. It's a completely separate debate. But these three people, very different behaviors, very different personalities, but there's a telling thing there in the Tony Abbott picture. The Tony Abbott picture shows him putting one hand over the other. And Barack Obama does that a lot as well. When he will shake hands with somebody, he will put one hand over the other. That is a classic green behavior because it is about building relationships. It's about that contact, the human contact, the closeness that people have together. These three, for those who don't know all the pictures, obviously Bill Gates, Fred Hollows, the famous eye surgeon, ophthalmic surgeon, and Peter Falk, who was the actor who played Columbo in TV series. You've kind of got to be over 40 or 45, maybe even 50 to have remembered the Columbo series, Peter Falk on TV. But that pose of Peter Falk with his hand on his head like that pose of Peter Falk, where he stood like this, and he would walk out of a room and he would turn back and say, just one more thing I have to ask you. Just one more thing. That was classic Peter Falk. That was classic blue behavior. Wanting to know information, wanting to know some more information about what you wanted to tell them, or find out more information. I in my financial services business recently, I had some clients, a young couple. She was a red. I told her the interest rate in it was financial services, told her the interest rate, told her how long the bank will be in making a decision. She said, yep, we're done, shake hands, let's go. Her partner was a classic blue, and he actually sat there like Peter Falk with his hand on his head, and she was out the door, and he was going, I just have one more question for you. Just clarify something for me. And so that's the classic blue behavior. Now, again, I'm not making any political statements, but I had to find 3 photographs of people who were overly red in their behavior. And I think, those of you watching would understand that these 3 are overly red, overly dominant in their behavior. The important thing to notice is that behavior and communication don't determine your role in life. I mean, all 3 of these, whether you politically align with any of them or not, doesn't matter. But all 3 of these people with distinctly different behaviors were President of America. So now the whole talk today is called Communicating in Color. We're going to do a deep dive into this on the workshop tomorrow, but let's look in a most basic level at how you communicate with each of these styles. Now, why is that important? It's actually not important what your own style is. It is important because you need to understand yourself, but it's more important to understand each person's behavior and how you would communicate with them in a way that makes sense to them. So let's look at the reds, okay? The reds are concerned with being number 1. You want to show them how to win. So think about those 3 people that I put up as reds. You want to show them how to win. You want to show them what new opportunities exist. They want some facts, but they want concise data. They don't want to know, they don't want the volume of War and Peace. What they want is, why is it good for me? And how are we going to achieve something? They need to be in charge. So talk to them in a way that they're making the decision you want them to make, but they feel that they own the decision. Let them take the lead, but give them parameters on which to work. That's how you communicate with people who are red in their behavior. When people are yellow in their behavior, they want to be admired. Think about those 3. We had Bill Clinton on the screen. We had Shane Warne. We had Hamish and Andy. Those 3 all want to be admired. They want approval. They're in the public eye. They look at the big picture. They make fast decisions based on a big picture. You know who these people are. I'm a yellow. I know that my dominant behavioral style is yellow, but I love to interact with people. I look at this big picture, but I need involvement and people contact, and I need to participate with people. And I love helping people get organized. As a leader, organize the group, but make sure that the decision we're taking is for the group. When we get to the next color, to the green, they are concerned with stability. You want to show them how your idea that you're discussing with them will minimize risk. They're non-aggressive. They're about relationships. Remember Tony Abbott and Barack Obama with a handshake, with a hand over the hand. They want to connect with people. You want to give them some form of measurement. You want to give them a step-by-step sequence. You want to outline 1 or 2 instructions as you walk them through the process. But again, you want to give them time because they need to make a measured decision. But they want calmness. They want peace. Okay, they want a friendly atmosphere. They want to, when you try and sell something to a green, don't do it like most people who contact me on LinkedIn and try and sell me things 30 seconds later. All right, don't do that. Because they want to build relationships. They want to shake hands with you. They want to be in that environment. The blues, on the other hand, the last of the 4 groups, they're concerned with aggressive approaches. Never go in and sell to them. The traditional salesman, the traditional, going out there and selling, that doesn't work with them, okay? They are concerned They want to give them data. They want stability, but give them data. Give them as many spreadsheets as you can give them and leave them 2 weeks and 3 days. It's got to be specific to make a decision. Okay. They want data in writing. They want accuracy. Compliment them and on their accuracy. You know, they like to contemplate things. They want time to make decisions. And so if we want to communicate with people and we want to communicate effectively with people, we communicate in color. It's funny, I've done all this programming with my staff in the financial services group. And we were sitting around having Friday afternoon drinks. And one of the staff said something, and I had a visitor here who'd also done my program on colors. And one of the staff turned around and said, yes, I answered like that because I'm a blue. That's how ingrained it is into their thinking, that they know how to communicate with each other and with everybody else. Now, in the workshop, we'll go into some techniques of how you ascertain what people are. And really, it's about that focus. It's about what happens when it goes fuzzy, when you're not sure. So we have an aid that helps people that I'm happily will give out to anybody who wants it. It's a cube. It looks like that in the camera. I'm going to switch over to the camera for a second. The cube looks like this. It is called the Excellence Cube. There it is, when the camera remembers to focus. Okay. And what that cube does is on the bottom of it, it has 4 quadrants: red, yellow, green, and blue. And it gives you key words that you can use to identify anybody and work out their behavioral style. So that's what the bottom is. Once you've worked out the behavioral style, you go to the appropriate color side, and each of those sides tells you how to communicate with them, what are they motivated by, how do they react under stress, and what sort of emotion do they show. And so if anybody wants a copy of that, please send me an email, rael@raelbricker.com, and one of my team members will drop those in the mail to you, compliments of my team. So for those of you who are confused, let's just look at, and those who've watched The Simpsons many times, let's look at them. Lisa Simpson is the blue, right? She's always walking around with a notepad, making notes about things. Marge Simpson is always about calming the family down. She's about relationships. Bart Simpson is the yellow, sorry, not Bart, Homer Simpson is the yellow, and Bart actually. They're all about, you know, being out there, being noticed, being, you know, doing the big things. And I couldn't think of a red until I looked for Tony, the mob boss, because he epitomizes the red, carrying his gun, the cigar, those eyes. That was an epitome of a red behavior. So when you're not sure, think of the people you're dealing with. And remember, communicate with people in their color. So I've given you one handout today, one free takeaway. There is another one. My name is Rael Bricker. If you go to raelbricker.com/free book, you can actually download a copy of this book. You can obviously go and buy it on Amazon, which is great because then I get about 3 cents for every book that you sell, that you buy. But you can always download a free copy as a person who has been part of the GTF and enjoy the free book. So again, rael@raelbricker.com. That's who I am, the business excellence guy. I welcome any comments, questions, and engagement that we should have in the future. Thank you very much for your time today.